Hey guys, I just got out of the shower and I was thinking about something in the shower that I came out of with this burning need to talk about. So I threw on some clothes and I came upstairs to my recording area. Matthew's downstairs with the kids being like loud and crazy. So sorry if you hear them screaming and thumping below me, but um, I decided to do this one clothed just because I don't want to have to take a whole bunch of extra time, like photoshopping, my handmade hat and cowl on, to make sure that there's nothing showing that, YouTube is going to be like, oh, this is hardcore porn. Anyway, so I posted something on Twitter the other day, and it's kind of been resounding with me since I posted it. And basically all I said is, it's a lot easier to be body positive towards others than it is towards yourself. And I said that, and like a bunch of people were like, yes, I agree. And it's an interesting phenomenon because a lot of people, well, there's the assumption behind bullying, and I mean, I did a whole long video about bullying specifically, so I'm gonna try not to go too much into that. If you want to watch it, it's just toplesstopics.org/bullying. But there's the theory that behind bullying is this feeling of inadequacy, and people bully so that they feel better. And I do think that that is part of it. I think that's the case for a lot of bullies. I don't think it's the case for all bullies. I think some bullies just literally get pleasure off hurting others, or they're just, a sociopath who doesn't even see that they're hurting others, or, they're like me, where they're not trying to hurt others, but they just accidentally do. Anyway, going back to that first, assumption of why people bully, I think a lot of body shaming and fat jokes and stuff like that do come from that. I think that a lot of the people that will mock someone for being fat are themselves struggling, maybe not necessarily with gaining weight, but with some part of their body that they're just like, I don't fit the stereotypical beauty standards, and so I'm bitter about it, kind of sour grapesing it or whatever. No, I guess that wouldn't be sour grapesing. Sour grapes, well, yeah, no, I guess you could say it. I don't know. Anyway, and so I can see that being a reason. There's also, I guess you could call it the crab bucket mentality, but it's something, as a separate thing I was thinking about, but that's going to be a whole another video, where especially if you're someone like me and you want to be liked, you want to have friends, you will kind of change who you are without even realizing it, or maybe you do, do it consciously, but for me, without even realizing it, change who you are to try to be like the people around you. Now, I don't think I was ever in a group where I was like making fat jokes. I have no memory of it. If I did, I'm horrified, but I don't think I ever did. But so the point being that, people that are, again, fat or just, whatever way they don't ascribe to beauty standards, like maybe they had a mastectomy, maybe they have the nougat, I can't remember what it's called, where you have like a whole bunch of like birthmarks, I don't know, whatever. Like maybe they're super pale. I got mocked most of my life for being super pale. Being too skinny, the list of what people will give you crap over is never ending, because it doesn't matter how much you fit that beauty standard, people that feel inadequate or just like don't like seeing other people succeed will tear them down. And I mean, I've read quotes a long time ago from models who say, people think once you're a model, you feel secure in your body. That is not true. You feel even more pressure because, you're surrounded by all these other beautiful people. And not only that, but you have like managers who are yelling at you, or, actors, like what's her name from Bridgerton. Sorry, I'm like, I haven't had anything to eat or drink yet. I can't remember her name, but she plays one of the sisters, and she's, she's chubby. I think she's adorable, but she put this tweet out, or whatever it was, Instagram comment or something, that was like, if you have comments on my body, please keep them to yourself. And that was it. She wasn't like attacking people who, insult her or anything like that. That was all she said. But it caused waves. It was like all over social, trending all over social media, because it was just so amazing, I guess, for a plus size. I don't even, where is the cutoff for plus size? But anyway, larger public figure to say something like that. And of course, there were all these like heinous comments or whatever, but there were a lot more like, you go girl type comments, which is nice. I'm glad to see comments like that. But back to and then the next day after that, the girl that plays Kat on Euphoria was also trending for her, well, basically the first season she became this super confident dominatrix. It's like kind of a funny cam girl dominated, funny dramatic storyline. And then the next season, all of a sudden she like lost all her confidence and everything, and I don't want to give away too much of it, but a lot of people, you know, fat positive people were saying that the showrunner was like saying that you can't be confident and fat at the same time. I don't know, whatever. It was a weird thing. But she has a really great quote from the first season where she says, "Nothing's more powerful than a fat girl who doesn't give a fuck," I think is what she says. I might be messing it up a little bit. But anyway, but then being empowered for others, I think, especially like if you're in progressive spaces where you're trying to be a better person and you're trying to be more empathetic and see the world through other people's perspectives, not just your own, it's easier to be happy for others. And also, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of fakery too. I think there's a lot of, you know, virtue signaling, which, you know, fucking Republicans throw out at everyone that does anything good. It's like, oh, you don't really believe that, you're just virtue signaling, whatever. But at least for me, you know, if someone is like big in confidence, it's like, okay, you know, you go, whatever makes you happy. There are degrees where it gets extremely large or extremely skinny, where I'm like, I don't think your body, you know, I'm glad that you're positive, but I don't think your body is you know, I don't think you're helping your chances of living a long time. But if that's the payoff, you know, if that's the trade you want to make, like smokers, I guess they get the pleasure of smoking more than, anyway. But as far as me saying negative things to other people, I don't think I ever do. I certainly try not to. You know, I'm not gonna like say you're ugly or whatever, because it's like, how does that help? It doesn't make me feel better. It doesn't make them feel better. I don't get pleasure from making them feel worse. Like, so what's the point, you know? But anyway, as always, I'm getting like off topic and probably setting up the dominoes for my eventual mass cancellation, but whatever. This is what happens when you record your genuine self instead of a character that you can claim, you know, it's a character, so you shouldn't have to pay child support or whatever it was Alex Jones did. I have always had a weird relationship with my body. I feel like everyone says that, but I have always had a fast metabolism, and I know people say it doesn't exist, but I don't know what else to call it. For my entire life until like a couple years ago, it didn't matter how much I ate or what I ate. I almost never gained weight. Like, even when I was pregnant, I was 145. That was like the most I ever hit, and I'm 5'9". But I have never felt secure in my body. I have always felt like I'm too tall, I'm too, you know, well, until recently, too skinny, too pale. I have a horse face, you know, or a butter face, as in she's attractive but her face. You know, all these things. Throughout my teenage years, I would always dress super baggy, because well, the big thing is that I never liked, and I still hate, wearing bras. And I read a thing the other day that, you know, during the pandemic lockdown and stuff, a lot of women stopped wearing bras, and a lot of them haven't gone back. And I'm just like, yes, but it's easy to do here at home, you know, on a video or whatever, where if people say shit, like, I can just ignore it, versus actually being out there. Like, I was at the mall the other day with the kids walking because Matthew wanted to get a haircut, and we all are vaxxed and just got COVID anyway, so that's the only reason I feel like it's okay to be out there. Uh-oh, I said something about COVID. This is now medical disinformation, whatever. And I didn't wear a bra, and I didn't even like really think about it when we left the house. I was wearing like a tank, not a tank top, but maybe a tank top? I don't know, not the spaghetti strap, but like an actual, you know, and I didn't even think about it. And then as we were walking, oh, and I had a jacket on when we got there, but it was warm enough in the inside that it was too hot wearing my jacket, so I took my jacket off, and I could feel my nipples, fucking little bastards, sticking out, and my boobs like boo, 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 as I'm walking, because that's what fucking boobs do. I wasn't like jogging, I was just walking, and it was like, it wasn't, you know, fucking anime fighting game mechanics where the boobs were like, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't like that. It was just, you know, a slight movement. But our fucking culture and it always comes back to you know, free the nipple, because and the oppression of women and the patriarchy and everything, because it's fundamental to the creation of this country, and you know, side by side with racism. I mean, racism is a lot worse, but yeah. Anyway, so I felt very self-conscious, and I ended up keeping the jacket on even though it was way too hot for it, just because I felt too like people were looking at me. And it's kind of the same with body positivity. And I mean, you know, like being fat or something. If I was with a friend who was fat and someone said something to them, I would go off on that person and I would be like, are you okay? And my friend and everything like that. But if someone said that to me, I would feel like I just wouldn't have that fire of like defending myself, I don't think. I think I would just feel like shitty. And like, it doesn't even have to be a comment. It doesn't even have to be someone saying it to me. It's just me imagining someone saying something like that to me. So for instance, right now I'm wearing kind of a loose whatever, and I have this like little crop top thing that I got on, and I got a belly. I got a belly. Look at that. Look at that shit. I finally got to I'm very pastel today. That was not really intentional. I finally reached a point, you know, after having my kids, where my body is really slowed down and I actually do kind of have to watch what I eat or I will get bigger. I have a lot of complexes around people being fat and me being fat because my mom was very large through almost my entire life, and so sometimes he watches my videos, so I'm hesitant to say it, but my dad has made a lot of disparaging comments about my mom's weight throughout my entire life, and it gave me a lot of complexes. And I think I've made a lot of progress as far as accepting of other people being fat. And I'm saying fat because that seems to be the one that most fat acceptance people are using. I really don't hear like anyone saying like, oh, I prefer big bodied or plus size or anything anymore. Your mileage may vary. If you don't like the word fat and you prefer a different term, then please imagine that I use that term instead. I'm saying fat because that seems to be the most accepted at this current era of our social consciousness in progressive circles. Anyway, so it gave me a lot of complexes. So yeah, growing up, I wore baggy clothes. I was constantly nervous about my nipples. I'm still not, you know, comfortable being topless. I mean, not topless. I'm actually more comfortable being topless than I am being braless, and it bugs me that I stopped using Tumblr a long time ago because it's a trash fire, but it would bug me when I would look for free the nipple, and I would see it, and you see it on Instagram too, although I think Instagram suppresses the tag now, and you'd see just girls not wearing a bra, and I'm like, that's not free the nipple, that's just don't wear a bra. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I actually did a boudoir photo shoot a long time ago. I volunteered for it. I was kind of young and dumb, but and the photographer literally said, you seem more comfortable topless than you did before you took your shirt off. And it was like, huh. And nothing bad happened. I mean, I was lucky, nothing bad happened. But anyway, yeah. So where am I now? I am at the point where I'm trying to recognize when I'm defaulting to assumptions about what society will think of me, and trying to reassure myself that, you know, those attitudes are bullshit. Thinking like, oh, I can see that woman's nipples through her shirt. Okay. How does that affect your daily life? How does that, like, oh, the children, you mean my children that fed from these breasts for 2 years each? Like, what the fuck do you care if you can see some woman's nipples through her shirt? I mean, even outside of her shirt. But why? Why do you feel the need to stare? Why do you feel the... If everyone, if all women didn't wear bras, no one would give a shit because it'd be everywhere, which is the same thing with men's nipples, which is the same thing that needs to happen with not wearing anything female nipples. But anyway, so I'm working on that. I'm trying to recognize when I am having... you know, shaping my attitude and my behavior based on what if people blah blah blah, and remind myself, most people don't really care as much as you think they do, and two, even if they care, who fucking gives a shit? Why do I care if some random fucking MAGA hat wearing maskless dad at the mall is gawking at my nipples? He's the one that's being weird about it. And I'm trying to feel that way about my body too. Like, I look at some of my videos, you know, from the past year, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm like, I look so flat, blah, blah, blah. But then again, I look at videos of me like 10 years ago, and I think I look too skinny. Like, I can't really be in the right mode, I guess. Like, you know, I always have these societal expectations that it's really easy to logically and rationally, you know, disagree with them, and it's a whole other ballgame to emotionally disagree with them, or, you know, not feel confined by them, not feel like you have to ascribe to them. Yeah. All right, I better go get some breakfast. I just felt like sharing some of those thoughts, and I guess ask if anyone else out there has feelings about, you know, body positivity that you'd like to share. Like, have you changed your attitude about it like I have, where I've tried to get a lot more accepting? Or do you ascribe to the, well, if I shame people it'll make them lose weight thing, which I'll tell you right now is not scientifically sound and doesn't work, and is also just an excuse for vile behavior. Or, you know, maybe you've always had a lot of body shame or something, and or maybe you used to and you got over it, and you have some good advice for what people can try to feel better about themselves. I would like to, I would hope that we could share some of our tips on how to feel better about ourselves. And I will say one quick note, just because I have to with the nature of my comment. I think of my content. Sorry, I think in a case like this, because it's the topic, it's okay. I mean, I'm not saying like you should, but I think it's okay to be like, oh, you've got a great body or whatever. If we were talking about other stuff, like potty training my kid or dealing with bullying or like whatever, throwing out oh, you've got a great body is creepy and weird and inappropriate, and just makes me think that you haven't watched the video at all. So I just want to say, in a situation like this, I guess it's okay, but you need to think about that nuance. And that's just something I deal with a lot, where like I put a call out for a psychiatrist or a sociologist or something like that I'd love to do an interview with and talk about just like, you know, tribalism and the anti-vaxxers and all that stuff. Oh, medical disinformation. And some guy was like, here I am. And so I took a look at his profile, and it said he was like a sociologist and stuff. And I was like, great. And then he replies, you're welcome, my goddess, and then put like hearts. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, just why did you make it weird? Anyway. All right. Bye.